Welcome back, guys. It's Monday, April the 27th, 2020. It's a new trading week, and it's time once again for our zero-date expiration E-mini trade. We're just approaching our first trade of the day. It's about 10:16, 10:17 Mountain Time. And of course, the market today, as we look at it, pretty solid opening, pretty solid day up, but less volatility. So we're starting to see less of these big, massive swings here that we've seen in the last month or so. And maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's a harbinger for good things to come. It's interesting if you look at the Qs, the NASDAQ, man, it doesn't look like anything bad happened at all. A lot of stocks, Amazon, of course, back up at all-time highs. So the market's showing some strength here, showing some strength again today. As we look at putting a trade on today, obviously looking at the April 27th, it's a zero-date expiration trade. We're going to go to the strong side first. So we are going to put in the put leg first and then come back here in about an hour and look at putting in the call leg. And I am looking at this implied move of about $13 on the day. And we're going to go obviously below that, down here around that second standard deviation move. And I'm going to sell the 28.35s by the 28.25s, like a mid price of about 50 cents right now. I'm using about $5,000 of capital today. If I could get that 50-cent fill, that'd be $164 in income coming in. I'm going to let that sit for just a moment and see if we can get close to that on a fill. Yeah, I've let that sit here for a minute or so, and we've been so close. We actually bounced up to 53 on the mid price, but it's just not quite clicking for us here. And I'm going to go ahead and just drop it to 45. Don't want to really go too much lower than that. That'd be $141 credit, about 142 actually. Let's round up on my $5,000 of capital. I'm going to send that at 45 cents, and we do get a fill at 45 cents. There's our initial position opening up there. So we are in on our put leg now, about $142 credit coming in on our 5K investment. Approaching that 11:30 mark, we're getting into our second hour of trading here on the day, and I'm just looking at the S&P minis here. We've had that nice little rally coming in this morning, and then over the last hour or so, I guess, what does that put us at? About the 9:45 hour. So a little more than the last hour of trading here. We've sort of been flat to now starting to come back down a little bit. Good time, looks like, to put in our call leg on the trade. We do have 9 contracts in on the put side, and I'm going to look to do the same here on the call side. Probably going to look at the 285s by 295s. Let's ramp that up to 9 contracts. And that would be a really juicy $186 if we could get the 55 cents. We'll see what we get fill-wise here. Probably not going to make that happen. Let's let it work for just a little bit. Yeah, I got a nice fill on that. It only took about 40 seconds. I need to get a nice fill there at 55 cents. So there's another $156 in on the trade. So we brought in $142 on the put side. We've got $156 coming in on the call side. So we're in on both legs of the trade. That is a full iron condor for the day. We've got probably 2 hours left in our trading session. We'll see how it ends up here shortly. Okay, so coming back a little bit late here, we are in our last hour of trading, 1:03 p.m. Mountain Time, about a half hour or so left in our trading session. We want to close our positions out, obviously, before the overall market close. Yes is pushing up still again towards our call leg, and same trend most of the day today. And obviously don't want to give back any of our profit potential on the day. So we're going to watch that. 28.85 is our level that we came in at here, 28.85, right up in here. And so we're going to watch these candles. If we probably hit that 28.80 level, 28 even 75 level maybe, we want to go ahead and back that trade off and book our profits for the day. We'll watch this going into our last half hour of trading. It's 1:16. It's about about 15 minutes before we generally close out our trades. And for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 minutes, we've just sort of been bouncing up around this 28.75 level. If we can stay below that, then that's fine. But if we get a pop above this, we need to close that call leg out. So I'm just sitting tight here, watching this into the last 14 or 15 minutes of our trading here today. So it is starting to run on us here up above that 28.75 level. Go close this trade out. Let's just close all of our positions here. Try and get a maybe fill at that 90-cent debit level. Send that and see what we can get. Should be within the pricing range there. Pretty close, I would think. Let's replace it maybe with a 95. 95-cent debit. We get that filled at 95 cents, and that exits us out of that trade. If we look at our activity there on the ES position, you can see that we brought in $1, just brought in $1 of total credit there on that. Had to exit at 95 cents. So really no profit on the day of that position, but I am going to go look at putting in another put leg here. We've got about 35 minutes or so to the end of the trading day. And we are powering. It does look like we are powering into that close. So I'm going to look at adding this put leg in here. See what we can get credit-wise on this. If we've got enough buying power. I do have enough buying power. I'm going to send this at 75 cents and see what we can get. Might have to rework that a couple of times here. Always a little tough pricing-wise at the end of the day. 282 bucks would be the return on that one. And I get filled at the 40 cents on that. So there's our activity. Why that's showing still active and working. Let's see if we can refresh this here today. Still showing working there. Let's try to replace that. I think we're just getting some delayed orders coming in here. 65 cents would be 257 bucks. That's not going. Got to keep working this down. 60 cents. 232. Okay, so that fills. That's $232 right there. And then I am going to look at doing a call leg on here as well. Probably the 2890s. By the 2900s, yeah. And let's try to do 10 of those also. And let's see if we can get back into the profit zone that we're hoping for at the end of today. Oh, that's sold, and we're going to need to replace that. Let's go back down to the 40. Oh, that filled at 45. So there's another $162 right there. So we're tight on our spreads. We need to watch this here going into the close. But hopefully this puts us back nicely into the profit zone after that adjustment on the day. We'll see here in the next 20, 25 minutes or so. Heading into our last little bit of trading here, 147. Just a few minutes here before the market's closing. And we're continuing to push up here. Almost up 50 bucks on the E-minis. And pushing up close now to our new call leg. But I think we hopefully here, knock on wood. I mean, we still got some time in our trading day, but hopefully, knock on wood, we really saved our trading day here. We went from potentially having a loss on the day to basically zeroing ourselves out at a zero, using some good cash management techniques, using some self-discipline, knowing that we got in this thing. You can see there's our fills in the morning. Got in at a total of about $1, got out at 95-cent debit, reissued the trade here at about $1.05 credit. So kind of just reset for the day here in these last few hours of trading. And man, we're just hanging in there right now, up about 380 on the day. Again, a little bit of time to still go here. Of course, you know, it always goes haywire. It always goes crazy near the close. And so we're going to want to watch this really, really close as we get here to the close on the day. But it'd be nice to see what we can end up with today. I think this would be the first time in the beta rollout of our trading system here that we've had to make some adjustments in a trade. Knock on wood, every trade I think we've done so far to date in the program has just expired fully profitable on its own, or been profitable when we took our profits at the 1:30 hour. So we'll see how this one ends up, but it'll be a nice example of what you can do to take a trade that might have ended up as a loss, move it into a break-even trade, and then make an adjustment on top of that to actually still come out with a pretty sizable profit at the end of the day. We'll have to see if we have to close this out or not. If we don't have to close this out, I mean, there's still $100 of extrinsic value sitting in this trade. We could be well over $500 on the day for a $5,000 capital trade. Geez, I mean, we're only trying to squeak out 5% a week. That'd be 10% in one day. That'd be pretty awesome. So we'll see how we end up here in just a little bit. Well, there you go. There's the close on the day, and that was an interesting day for sure. And it shows how important rules are and just being disciplined in your trading and trading to trade well rather than trading to make a lot of profit. It seems like the more you focus on the money that you're trying to make, the worse you do as a trader. And conversely, if you just focus on doing good, solid trades, the money seems to follow. And that was definitely the case today. If you look at our activity, man, a lot of activity today. Just to walk you through that, that was our opening positions here this morning. Brought in about $1 worth of credit. Sold the puts obviously first, then we sold in the calls. Brought in a full iron condor. Started pushing up against the calls. We had to close both of those out. Basically at a break even, a little bit of a loss when you count the commission charges on top of there. Brought in $1, had to get out at a 95-cent debit. Reestablished a put leg at 60 cents and reestablished a call leg at 65 cents. So, started right back up fresh again. Very, very close to our typical time that we would be finished trading for the day. And then, as is the case with Tastyworks, I don't really have a problem with this. Their risk management department will manage your risk for you. And we started pushing up, or started coming back down rather, to our put leg. So if you notice, in our open positions here coming into expiration date, they've gone in automatically. I didn't do this trade. They did that for me, where they closed out the short leg on the puts to remove any risk on that downside, and probably wisely so. We had the 28.65s in, and we're at 28.69 now. But nevertheless, we ended up on the day up just about $500 on the day. Remember, we were starting with about $4,900. I put in $5,000 capital amount just to approximate it. It was actually closer to about $4,900. And we brought in $497, a 10% return on the day. Remember, we're trying to gross 3% a day, 3 days a week, 9% a week. Knowing that some of those trades aren't going to work, that we're going to take some losses on some, and if we can just net 5% a week, man, that's 20% a month. We'd be really happy with that. We're obviously off to a great start this week with about a 10% return on our capital, our invested capital to date. So there is our trade for today, folks. We'll be back on Wednesday with another one.